что, бери.
Капец. Слушай. Выйди из машины. Приблизь, Миш. Миша, приблизь. Ну, что это такое?
Хуйня какая-то, блядь.
Так, поехали.
Stargazers have a big mystery on their hands, a giant spiral of light that suddenly appeared over northern Norway. The winding image could be seen for hundreds of miles, fueling speculation that it was anything from alien invaders to a new phenomenon. Alex Marquardt reports from Moscow.
Norwegians were treated to a spectacular light show early Wednesday morning that immediately set tongues wagging, everyone asking what created that giant blue pinwheel in the sky. Speculation has settled firmly on a failed Russian rocket test. Russia's defense ministry has refused to comment, but military sources are telling leading Russian newspapers that there was a test of a Russian Bulava intercontinental ballistic missile that failed yesterday. It had previously been announced that there would be tests of the Bulava in the region between December 7th and 14th, and specifically from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, according to one Russian newspaper. But for now, that's simply the leading theory behind the mysterious blue lights. Alex Marquardt, ABC News, Moscow.
Hey, the new Bruce Willis movie Looper opens this weekend, and in which Willis's character is sent back in time to kill himself. Well, most scientists say time travel isn't possible.
But a Washington attorney claims he's done it dozens of times as part of a secret Cold War project. KOMO 4's Matt Markovich has his story.
We eliminate people from the future.
In the movie Looper, Bruce Willis is hunted down by a younger version of himself.
Time travel has not yet been invented, but 30 years from now, it will have been.
Time travel, Hollywood science fiction?
Or is it?
I have physically traveled in time.
Andrew Bashago is not acting.
We have. We did over 40 years ago.
Fascinating. The Vancouver, Washington attorney is on a mission to reveal what he calls a 40-year government cover-up of Project Pegasus.
Decent on anyway.
Where he says he was teleported back and sideways in time dozens of times.
It would be a fascinating project.
I have the whole story. I have hundreds of facts. I can tell you what personnel were at what locations where which time travel device was being used.
And his time travel wasn't recent. It was when he was a kid.
I entered the program officially in the fall of 1969 as a third grader, age 7.
One of 140 kids, 60 adults, chrononauts as he calls them, including his dad, who joined him on his first jump.
My dad held my hand and we jumped through the field of energy, and we seemed to be moving very rapidly. But there was also a paradox. We seemed to be going nowhere at all.
Hold on tight, son. The TV show Fringe aired a similar scene 2 years ago. Coincidence?
Did it?
There's paradoxes, unscientific claims, unbelievable stories and encounters on Earth and Mars. Meeting Barack Obama when the president was a teenager with a different name.
Fascinating.
Time traveling 6 times to the Ford Theater on the day President Lincoln was shot, but he didn't see it happen. And we're not done with Lincoln.
In fact, during one probe, the one to the Gettysburg Address, I was dressed as a Union bugle boy.
That's right, he was at the Gettysburg Address. He says this famous picture taken that day proves it. He says this bugle boy is him. It's the only visual evidence he provides for any of his travels. That's it.
I was physically at Gettysburg.
Crazy way to travel, spreading a man's molecules all over the universe.
And what about that teleportation? He says Star Trek got it wrong.
So Andy, I just got here via Star Trek teleportation, but that's not how you did it.
No, in fact, if you had just arrived via quantum teleportation, the Star Trek method of teleportation, you would have collapsed as a dead person.
Bashago weaves his tale with such conviction, I thought he's either a psychopathic liar, lunatic, or the fastest thinking science fiction writer on Earth.
A tunnel was opening up in time-space, just like you'd have a cavity inside a soap bubble being blown by a child. And when that bubble closed, we had been repositioned elsewhere in time-space on the face of the Earth.
Some would say Bashago is still living in a bubble, but he's put his professional reputation at risk claiming time travel isn't science fiction. He did it.
Please, Spock, do me a favor. And don't say it's fascinating. No. But it is interesting.
Matt Markovich, Como 4 News.
It was hard for us to confirm any of Andrew's claims. Still, he says many out there say they believe Project Pegasus was real.
Mankind has always been fascinated by the thought of traveling in time. Over the centuries, there have been all kinds of ideas about how it could be done. But of course, time travel is impossible. Or is it? This is the story of Håkan Nordqvist, a man who claims to have visited the future.
Jag hade varit och jobbat på Öland. Och kom hem då och gick in i köket. Nej, vad fan. Så det var precis en massa vatten på golvet där då. Tänkte, fan. Ja, det är något rör där under diskhon och... Så jag hämtade verktygen då. Och in där och skulle börja dona och grejer och det och massa. Och nå åt det för det var så långt in med rörna då. Tänkte, fan. Jag fick krypa in där och... Jag bara kom längre och längre in där. Till slut i alla fall så blev det ljust så jag kunde ställa mig upp på det här. Jaha, och där får jag se mig själv som äldre då, kanske 70 och sånt där.
It would be very easy to dismiss Håkan Nordqvist as a liar if it wasn't for this.
Men som tur var då, för jag tänkte det här kommer ingen tro på. Det finns inte en chans att folk kommer tro på det här. Så jag hade ju med mig mobilen så jag kunde filma det. Ja, vi stod där och tjafsade lite och... Ja, det var riktigt god känsla var det. Hur gött som helst.
Let's suppose for a moment that Håkan Nordqvist is telling the truth. If so, is there an explanation? We asked Hans Carlson, professor in theoretical physics.
Det finns en massa teorier om att resa i tiden. En sådan teori är tvillingparadoxen. Det finns teorier kring svarta hål. Det finns teorier kring maskhål. En genväg mellan två platser i universum. Enligt fysikens lagar skulle dessa teoretiskt kunna uppstå. Sannolikheten är visserligen inte särskilt stor, men de teoretiska förutsättningarna finns så att man kan inte avfärda det.
Nej, men jag vet ju bara att jag träffar mig själv här i framtiden och att jag... Nej, men att det här är jävligt gött. Sen får ju folk tro vad de vill.
Håkan Nordqvist stands by his claim, and scientists can't completely dismiss his story. Even so, the question remains, is this really possible? As Albert Einstein once said, the most beautiful thing we can experience is the mysterious. It's the source of all true science.
This is a dust storm on Mars. Billy wanted to get close and try to take pictures of artifacts. You've all heard about some of the Sidonoplasma on Mars, about the face on Mars that Richard Hoagland and other people have been looking into. Billy published a paper back in the 70s talking about that. There was a race of people lived on Mars. They had a terrible catastrophe about 186,000 years back. At the time, there was about 40 million people killed on Mars, and they're all gone now, of course. So there were societies there, and we will find quite a few remains of their civilization once we get up there. Here he's on board one of their large motherships. This is the side or the edge of a saucer that was parked inside as he was walking by it. Here's Jupiter. Here's the mothership in orbit. They're flying into it to go aboard. It was 17 miles high and about 10 miles in diameter. He spent 3 days on it. They went to different places in our galaxy to show him around. This was the craft that was right in front of him as they were flying into it. He took a picture of that one. Here, again, is back at Mars. These aren't in any particular order. Here's another object in orbit around Mars. And look, here's an American flag on it. So there's a couple of things that they put up there that the military's put up that we don't know about. This is a picture of Billy in a suit. He's on a prehistoric planet to see the dinosaurs. He's got a breathing apparatus on. This is a Pleiadian man, and they've stepped outside of the ship so he can see the animal life on this prehistoric world. Got his picture taken, too. That's pretty good. This jumps back here to, remember the Apollo-Soyuz hookup, us and the Russians back in '76? Billy asked him if he could go up and watch it. They said, okay. They took him up. There's several pictures here of the Apollo-Soyuz hooking up with Earth in the background. Some of the wildest pictures he's got. I mean, just look at the vantage point. The planet's in the background. How else would you get this picture unless you were up there at that particular vantage point? Not a lot of people have that in their photo albums, you know. They'd probably find it a little hard to believe at first, but they don't have pictures like this. Here it is when it's just hooked up. There's Earth in the background, and here's the two capsules coming together. This is the top of the mothership. There's windows, but there was nobody in the windows as they came into it. We really missed out here. Billy shot, he said, 3 or 4 rolls of film inside the mothership, talking to people and going up and down the halls and so forth. He lost all of the pictures. They were all stolen from him. We've only got 2 or 3 of them left, and they're really practically nothing. This is a prehistoric Earth. They're back in time. That's Earth in the background. That's a moon in front of Earth, and he's looking over the surface of another moon. At that point, they told him there were 2 moons in orbit around planet Earth. We think we're about 60 million years back. Here's another picture over the surface. Neither one of those moons is currently the moon that's in orbit now. The moon that's in our orbit now, they say, has only been there around 5 million years. Look at this one. This is another piece of equipment in orbit around Mars, and it's huge. It's like a space station. And it's in orbit around the planet. It's also from Earth. We haven't heard anything about that, have we? Here's the dinosaur pictures. Billy's back inside the ship. And there's a viewing screen in the craft, and he says he's taking these pictures. Here's our first dino. He's got kind of gold brown skin, got large hind legs, short forelegs, and a head that looks kind of amphibian, like a vegetarian type. Here's the second one. There's a bird here apparently dropping some food or something. Is that Charles? Charles dropped his food. This one's pretty hard to see. Here's the head of some sort of creature crashing through some bushes here. It's hard to tell. I know it's probably hard to see these anyway from back there, but just the idea that someone could actually go back in time just really gets my brain going. There's a bird. There's his eyes, some pretty nasty looking teeth. And the last picture after this one is the strangest of all. It's a plant that has an insect head. Billy calls it a plantum. They were trying to explain to him how the evolution of different life forms goes. How, for instance, here's a plant life when the plants are the food kingdom of the world. When the plants evolve to a certain level of evolution, then these lower order forms, here's a small head, and this head is part of that plant. There's these two little eyes. It's an insect, the beginning of insect life on the planet when the food kingdom has evolved high enough. There are 7 different stages, they say, of spiritual energies or creational energies on a planet that create the many different kinds of life forms. There's a transition from one kind to the next. Ours is the 7th or the last one. We have to wait until the animal kingdom has raised the evolution of the body material high enough so our cycles can start.
Thought it might be something related to a loud bass or subwoofer in someone's car, or maybe an idling truck, and I kept looking for that, but never saw anything of the sort. And then in time, I started noticing greater frequency and patterns, particularly in the evenings, where this noise was occurring.
We're in Long Island, January 18th, and it's fucking loud. You hear that? You hear that shit? I have no idea, like, it's coming straight out of the sky. What is that?
vibrations and the rumblings have become so intense that it's disrupted our daily lives. The rumblings begin almost immediately in the morning and proceed throughout the evening, getting stronger in intensity.
Strong vibration that had come from the ground. It was a synthetic noise. It's really there.
You personally experienced it?
I personally experienced it. I sat and the person in the house at the time shut off the air conditioner, shut off the furnace, shut off the water main, shut off the electricity, and turned everything off and around the house. And if you put your palm to the hardwood floor, you could feel some sort of synthetic, synthesizing a little bit of a noise vibration. It's very weak, it grows a little bit, but it's consistent and it goes back down. It's real, it's there, it's present, and I think that this issue needs to be taken much more seriously.
People have been recording strange noises like this one in Kiev for some time now. Videos filmed all over the world have appeared on YouTube, the first in summer last year. But no one's really sure what they're hearing. Speculation ranges from cloaked UFOs to military testing, to experiments by HAARP, a US research project that studies the ionosphere. Not since the crop circles of the 1980s, though, has the online community been so excited by a series of unexplained events. But often as phenomena like this increase in notoriety, they can become subject to hoaxing. Next to the more outlandish theories, there are some more mundane ideas as to what's causing the noises. Some have suggested nearby trains might be to blame. However, it's not known whether all the noises around the world were filmed near railways.
You're watching America This Morning, America's #1 early morning news.
And we have more now on that breaking story this morning. The meteorite bursting through the atmosphere over Russia, injuring hundreds of folks on the ground.
It happened overnight in frigid Siberia, sending shocked residents into a state of panic. ABC's Kurit Radia filed this report just moments ago.
The meteorite was captured on car dashboard cameras and phones. A blinding flash of light streaking across the sky. And then
Нихуя себе, это что такое? О, нихуя метеорит, блядь.
Внимание,
Ебануться. Нихуя себе.
Ой. Охренеть. Где-то упал. Слышишь? Это знаешь, что было? Это он сверхзвуковой. Это, похоже, астероид. Это звуковая волна, астероид. Реально.
Scientists say the meteor shower was not related to an asteroid that will fly dangerously close to Earth today, but one estimate suggested this meteor was big, perhaps tens of tons. Kirit Radia, ABC News, Moscow.
Unbelievable video there. Now let's repeat what Kirit just said. That meteor shower is not believed to be related to that massive asteroid passing by Earth later today. Scientists say it will come within 17,000 miles of our planet, just around 2:25 p.m. Eastern Time. That is closer than weather and communication satellites, believe it or not, so some cell phone service could be disrupted temporarily.
Deixa un poquinho que esté.
Европейскими центральными банками, которые в 2008-2009 годах реализовали лишь 155 тонн металла при квоте в 500 тонн. С начала года золото подорожало уже на 18%, а с сентября прошлого года на 42%. Индекс доллара дешевеет в корзине основных мировых валют на 0,2%. Пара евро-доллар торгуется в отметке 1,4726, соотношение пары доллар-иена 88,14 и пара британских фунтов.
هذه السحابة سبحان الله لا إله إلا الله. حصلتها في المزارع في بدع فارس، يعني ما بيني وبينها إلا 5 أمتار. الحين ترد على السيارة. هذه قدر إلهية سبحان الله. نزلت الأرض الحين، فأنا مستعجب صراحة. ممكن حد يصدق أو ما حد يصدق إنها سحابة. الحين طاحت في الأرض ونشبت في الشبك. هاي لا كيف تقسمت إلى أجزاء. الحين جزء طاح منها ودخل داخل المزارع. سحابة غريبة اشتلت. فأنا اليوم صراحة مستغرب المنطقة هذه، أشياء غرايب فيها أشوفها. الحين طلعت فوق. هل تصدق يا أخي؟ لا إله إلا الله. مفطط شكل الإنسان. الحين بصور هذا. الحين ما انزل بتصور انا في الجهه. شوف تعال جو التلفون هذا شوف. ها جود هذا شوف. جود ايوه.
ايوه
شكرا يا رفيق شكرا. عجائب الدنيا هاتاك في السماء يا ريت انها تتواضح.
Breaking news, solving problems. This is Channel 13 Action News, live at 11.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us. I'm Trisha Keene.
And I'm Steve Wolford. Well, let's take another trip back into the realm of paranormal tonight. Last night we had ghost hunters, now UFOs.
That's right, and there is a Las Vegas guy making an extraordinary claim about extraterrestrials. So we sent Action News reporter Mike Delastrito to check it out. Mike?
All right, guys, just listen up here. This guy says the Old Testament, written in Hebrew, taught him how to summon UFOs. All right, he says he can also do this on command, and he adds he's been doing it for 25 years, keeping all of it secret until now.
These beings are here. They are here. They're just sitting right up there.
We met up with Prophet Yahweh, seer of Yahweh, at Doolittle Park off Lake Mead. We picked the day, we picked the time, and we picked the location.
Everyone's going to think you're absolutely nuts. Well, I thought I was absolutely nuts.
Until he says he saw UFOs. Over the years, 1,500 of them.
Can we make it 1,501 today? What do you think? I'll try it.
He says the voice in his head told him to go public now. So we took him up on his offer, and we scanned the skies. Nothing but a few clouds. When the prophet started praying for a sighting, I wasn't exactly convinced.
I pray, oh Yahweh, that you send a sighting so that they know that I am not mentally ill. I am not a false prophet, like those who seek to kill me say I am.
I see something straight up.
Oh, brother, look at it. There it is.
You can barely see it, a white speck. Then another sighting.
There it is. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
Photojournalist Jonathan Hawkins locks in on it. Let's take a clear look here. It's an orange sphere that appeared out of nowhere. I call the boss with an unexpected change in my story. I can see it clear as day. In fact, it's bright.
I can't believe this.
It's moving pretty fast.
It's going to Nellis Air Force Base. It wants to be seen.
We called Nellis to see what these things might be. Guess what? They didn't call us back. But this thing started coming back toward us. It's coming toward us now, I think.
What?
See, it's coming up toward us.
Whoa, man! Oh, hallelujah!
Then, a few seconds later, it disappeared.
It's going back up in space.
Prophet Yahweh isn't concerned. He says it'll be back. And I'm still not quite sure what those things were. Now, if I didn't see this for myself, I probably would have just laughed this whole thing off. Prophet Yahweh says, though, this is just the beginning. He says we're going to see a lot more of these things starting next week. And he says one will come down low enough for all of Las Vegas to see. Mike Delastrito, Channel 13 Action News.
17号深夜，一个忽大忽小的不明发光物体出现在了常州武进洛阳镇的一个厂区里，正好被电视监控拍了下来。
凌晨3点22分14秒时，一个直径1米多的光球从空中落到了洛阳镇欧凯电器有限公司厂门里侧。落到地面后，这个光球就不停地抖动。约45秒钟后，抖动加剧，并开始变形，长出圆形的四肢后，迅速向厂区移动。约20秒后，体积又变得只有一个乒乓球般大小。
然后把线圈到那边弹性的那里嘛，然后从那里过，然后就一下看到它从那个天上掉下来，一个亮的，然后圆的。当时看到之后，你第一反应是什么？第一反应就是吓到了。
到外面一看，外面那个天空全部都那个变红的了，就像黄昏的时候那一样。我以为天亮了，但是那个时候才3点22分这样的吧。
据武进区洛阳镇岑村老人讲，曾经在该厂区周围看到过3、4次类似的不明发光现象。
The low loader's on the way, mate. I'm just going to get some video evidence. I've never really seen anything like this.
Because we saw him standing around in the old acting.
Where's the I don't know. I just got here now. I just stayed at my friend's place. Got here now and lost suddenly this.
Es la última batería que me queda. Yo tío, es que esto flipa,
Tócale como la cámara, tío, que es de kilómetros.
Mira. Este tío, yo qué sé, tío, se llaman plumas, tío. Cuidado uno. Toma, tío, ja veus si són dins l'horita. Des de fa rato que són dins l'horita. Que sí, collons, que sí, tia.
Thanks for watching NBC 33 News Morning Edition. The time is 6:26. Okay, so you know how we ask you to send in your pics so we can put them in our newscast? Well, you got to see what one viewer claims his friend found at a hunting camp in Berwick. I really don't even know what that is. The guy who sent it in didn't want us to mention his name, but tells us this is totally for real. He says last weekend his friend's family found one of their hunting camps destroyed, but the SIM card was still there, and so was this crazy image. I put the pic up on Facebook, and this is what some of you had to say about it.
This stick's getting pretty damn sharp. Eh? Oh fuck, the smoke is in my face.
Well, you've been sharpening it for like 2 hours.
No.
You hear something?
No. The dog.
Okay.
Probably shy though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take pictures now.
This stick's getting pretty damn sharp. Eh? Oh fuck, the smoke is in my face.
Well, you've been sharpening it for like 2 hours.
No. No.
You hear something?
I'm hearing the things in my woods again. I don't know if you can hear the noise. I'm recording with night vision right now. I've been hearing the sounds in the back of my woods. Quite a bit. What the heck is that? Oh my god!
After a 2-day venture into the backcountry, Todd is successful in finding a Bigfoot domicile, a well-hidden dwelling where Sasquatches live. He carefully approaches, trying not to alarm the unsuspecting occupants, when he spots a Sasquatch.
This guy walked right into an area where I could film him and shoot him, and that's what I got. I know that's a real animal. I know it'll be put through the ringer and whatnot. Eventually, when I can prove the species is real, people will start to understand the reality of it, but it's tremendous evidence for me.
Todd is pleased to have gotten some definitive proof of the elusive giants. Then, he gets an unexpected surprise.
It was a chickadee, a black and white chickadee that gave me away. This chickadee came within about 5 meters or so of me, and he was squawking. I've never seen a chickadee do that. He squawked, and then I could hear the movement around me. When you hear, when you hear, you know, okay, I've been found.
With his cover blown, Todd finds himself surrounded by angry Bigfoots.
What happened was he stopped me from going up the corridor. 2 at least came around behind me, picked up my trail, followed up behind, and when they dialed in on me, he moved back, and the game was over. Now it's get out of there.
What is that? What is that? Wow. 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 Wow.
Ağır gidiyor ya. Evet. Hala ağır gidiyor ya. Ya. Allah'ım yarabbim, şuraya bak ya, bak. Hop. Şuraya. Optikal yapma ha. Hop. Görüyor musun nasıl bir... Vallahi yine yakaladım. Vallahi yine yakaladım. Ağır ağır gidiyor. Ağır ağır gidiyor. Ağır ağır gidiyor. Tut sabit. Aynı yerde. Aynen. Bak tam ayın altında. Denize yakın. Denize yakın. bak aşağıda. Denizin üzerinde bu. Denizin üzerinde gibi. Aynısı be. Gir şuna zoom. Allah Allah. Nedir bu böyle? Ay nerede? Ay da burada. Aha. Kaybettik. Vallahi kaybettik. Tüh. Yakaladım. Allah razı olsun. Şurada ne var? Tamam. Tamam. Aha gittim. Yok oradan göremezsin.
Aç be.
Abi merkezi bak görüyor musun? Duruyor orada.
Ben görüyorum da.
He. Bak.
Zoomla.
Zoomladım ya. Ağır ağır gidiyor değil mi Salih?
Çok yavaş gidiyor.
He?
Çok yavaş gidiyor.
Aha. Yok kaybettik be. Yine buldum be. Yine buldum. Yine buldum onu. Lan nedir bunlar ya? Arkadaş nedir bunlar ya? Böyle bir şey var mı ya? Bak yapma. Hadi. Allah kahretsin seni artık. Vallahi yok oldu be. Vallahi yok oldu. Bu ne ya? Vay. Baba gidiyor arada. Aa yok oldu. Hala orada ya. Suyun üstünde abi bu ya. Daha ne kadar gireyim son zoom'dayım ya. Deniz üzerinde arkadaş bu ya. Ne ilerliyor ne geriliyor hiçbir hareket yok. Direkt deniz üzerinde bu ya. Aha yok oldu. Ah gördüm.
Gir zoom'a.
Gir
abi gir. Affetme.
Abi girdim ona.
Şu büyük yıldız olan videosu parlıyor.
Onun yanında gidiyor. Çok ağır ağır gidiyor.
Kamerada nasıl görünüyor?
Karanlık
Yemin gibi
yok biraz zayıf gözüküyor.
Abi şu anda karanlık o dediğin şey ya. Ama arada parlıyor.
Evet.
Çok ufak dikkatli bakmayınca hani başka yere bakarsın ya. Orada
Evet.
belirginleşiyor sanki.
Sis de var bu havada biraz farkında mısınız?
Evet abi gördüm ben onu.
Gördün mü?
Evet abi yıldızın hemen sağ köşesinde bir şey kaydı gitti bu arada.
Evet.
Harbi kaydı gitti yani.
Abi ben şu anda zoom'dayım.
Evet abi dediği gibi ya kayıp gidiyor ya. Şunun yanına baksana abi. Şu yıldız var ya. Onun sağ köşesinde dalgın gibi bakınca hemen belli oluyor. Nokta gibi bir şey ya. Bu arada uçak çakıp gidiyor. Abi Allah şükürler olsun, bomba gözümüz var. Abi sistem mi onu yoksa ışığını mı kısalttı?
Bak şu uçağı da çek. Fark öylesindir.
Nerede abi?
Al
abi senin sol sağ üstünde. Gönder abi çekin.
Ha. Ne kadar parlak değil mi Salih? Gir yüzüne gir iyice.
Sen görüyor musun?
Gördüm.
Aa, nasıl bir şey bu ya? He?
Felaket.
Abi erken çıktılar. 2:20 geçiyor saat.
Saat belli olmaz ki ya.
Ha? Abi bu manyak bir şey ya. Bunda ışığı ilk defa parlar. Aha. Ha? Alkan bu ne böyle ya? Abi gidiyor değil mi Alkan? He? Nerede? Denize doğru gidiyor değil mi? Aha şekil değişti. Aa, şekil değişti Salih. Yok hiçbir şey yapmadı. Aa baba şekil değiştiriyor. Baba ışık gidiyor bir yana. Bak. Duruyor bu. Yemin duruyor. Baba ışık da bir tarafa gidiyor. Ciddi söylüyorum, ışık bir tarafa gidiyor. Ana. Ya böyle bir şey yok Alkan. Aa, uzaklaştı bak, fokus oldu. Heh. Baba ışık gidip geliyor. Sence nedir bu Alkan ya? Duruyor ama değil mi daha?
Duruyor.
Nereye gittiler?
Cuatro investigadores jóvenes realizan un documental cuando se encuentran de frente con la peor pesadilla de su infancia.
Corre. Madre, sucio esa madre, todo. Verga, cabrón, algo me tocó allá, güey. Me tocó allá, te lo
No mames, ¿dónde?
No,
Te
mames.
juro que allá, atrás del poste algo me tocó, cabrón.
¿Dónde está?
Ya, pero no dejes de grabar, güey. No dejes de grabar, cabrón. Velo, güey.
No
No
mames,
mames,
ya
pues lo
te
vieron,
vas a
güey.
decir allá,
Vámonos,
cabrón.
no mames,
Vámonos.
no mames.
Mexico's balmy breezes, vibrant culture, and delicious cuisine have made it one of the world's most popular vacation destinations. Whether touring the ancient Mayan ruins of the Yucatan or enjoying mariachi music in Mexico City, millions of people love to visit this beautiful country steeped in color and mysticism.
Mexico is known as the land of wonders and mysteries. the land where legend and reality become one.
But over the past decade, it seems international travelers aren't the only ones flocking to Mexico.
Mexico has received more UFO sightings than any other country on this planet.
The first in a growing wave of sightings occurred on July 11, 1991, during a solar eclipse. People gathered in Mexico City, one of the most populous cities in the world, to watch this rare event in the sky. What they saw was even more startling.
At that moment, when the eclipse began, the people were taping and suddenly a strange unknown object appeared.
They witnessed metallic objects, unidentified flying objects, appear in the sky just as the eclipse was taking place and remained in the sky as the eclipse was finishing. 17 different people in Mexico City from different vantage points filmed this event.
The images that got caught on tape were so spectacular, were so real, were so nitty, so explicit, that we finally realized that we have a very solid and important evidence with many witnesses from different places. From that day, the Mexican people realized that it was real.
Since 1991, hundreds of UFO sightings have taken place across Mexico, many during the day. The military has gone from complete denial of these events to a more open position.
The Mexican government, the authorities, the military, have been kind enough to talk about the phenomena, to give comments, to acknowledge that most of the incidents really took place, that they believe in the phenomena, they don't have still any explanation, then that's the truth.
Since the UFOs never seemed to take any aggressive action, most Mexicans were delighted by their regular appearances. But that all changed on January 16, 2004, when a trembling young police officer told reporters he had been attacked by a flying creature in the city of Guadalupe.
¿Realidad o fantasía? Les tendremos la historia de un policía de Guadalupe que narra la supuesta aparición de una bruja.
As he was patrolling the crime-ridden area in his car, the young officer claimed a figure dropped from a tree onto the road.
At that moment, he stopped the car, the patrol car, and he noticed something. This body was floating above the ground.
He turned on his high beams for a better view.
Estaba vestida de negro y tenía los ojos grandes. Y tez morena. Ya no le alcancé a ver más. Estaba vestida de negro, traía un gorro y con una punta hacia atrás. Pero no tenía nada de escoba, nada. Iba volando sola.
The creature then suddenly flew at the car, smashing repeatedly into the windshield.
So he put the car in reverse, the patrol car in reverse, trying to run away. He asked by radio for backup, and this flying thing was trying to grab her through the windshield. She was looking at him. It was very close.
Terrified, the police officer raced backwards, hitting a wall and losing consciousness. Later, medical tests revealed the officer had no drugs or alcohol in his system, but was in a deep state of shock.
Psychological tests revealed that he was not suffering and has never suffered any kind of hallucination or any kind of psychological disorders.
Many ufologists say that what attacked the officer is a new and frightening alien being called a flying humanoid. One amateur video even caught two flying humanoids in the air together.
This was like a huge dark being with some kind of big, huge cloak. Above this big flying being was a winged entity. Suddenly, a smaller being is expelled from the big flying entity and fly away. And then that smaller entity returned and was absorbed by the bigger one.
¡Ay, ay! ¡Se le pegó! ¡Se le metió! Como tapa.
Some people think that these are bad aliens that are flying, trying to abduct people. However, these are only theories. We don't know exactly what's going on. But the images are there.
UFO investigator Stanton Friedman doesn't find these images persuasive evidence that the creatures are real.
I've looked at a number of reports of flying humanoids. I wasn't terribly impressed.
But believers like Ed Sherwood think it won't be long before these creatures and others make themselves known in the United States.
The people of America are ready for the fact we are not alone. And I do think that coming up in the very near future, there is going to be an unprecedented UFO event, an event that once and for all affirms that we are not alone.
Los habitantes de una ciudad están atemorizados ante lo que parece ser el ataque de unos extraños seres que muchos aseguran son parecidos a brujas. Desde México, Alejandro Mendoza tiene los impactantes testimonios.
Tras revisar una y otra vez el video, Jerónimo junto a los integrantes del OVNIClub Nuevo León comenzaron a notar que aquella mancha flotante lucía como una persona encorvada que vestía una túnica con capucha puntiaguda. Incluso hubo quien aseguró que parecía volar sobre una escoba. Así llegaron a una primera conclusión: tal vez aquello era una bruja.
Míralo, ahí está.
Pero esa presunta aparición era solo un caso más.
A ver, lo voy a mirar con...
Caramba, Dios mío, qué miedo. Hola,
está?
¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es
¿Dónde está?
Analí.
¿Dónde está, hija? ¿Dónde está, hija? ¿Dónde lo ves?
Es que acá yo no identifico. Y arriba, pues en las rocas.
Ah, ya, así, acá con el largavista, ese punto que yo lo veo brillante es...
¡Dios mío!
¿Qué?
¡Mamá! ¡Míralo! ¡Ha crecido! ¡Mamá! Se paró hacia arriba, mamá. Acá se ve. ¡Qué miedo! ¡Ay, qué miedo! Me voy a poner a llorar.
El dorado se te...
Hola. Hola.
Analí, ya. Déjate vainas, ¿ya?
Mamá, tú no has visto lo que yo he visto.
Sí, que crece un poco más.
Se para encima de una piedra y nada más.
¿Quién ha crecido, el hombre o la nave?
Yo estoy filmando al hombre. Ah, mira, ahí hay gente. ¡Son inmensos!
A ver, lo voy a mirar con...
Caramba, Dios mío, qué miedo.
¿Dónde
Hola,
está?
¿cómo estás? Mi nombre es Analí.
¿Dónde está, hija? ¿Dónde está, hija? ¿Dónde lo ves?
Es que acá yo no identifico. Y arriba, pues en las rocas.
Ah, ya, así, acá con el largavista, ese punto que yo lo veo brillante es...
¡Dios mío!
¿Qué?
¡Mamá! ¡Míralo! ¡Ha crecido! ¡Mamá! Se paró hacia arriba, mamá. Acá se ve. ¡Qué miedo! ¡Ay, qué miedo! Me voy a poner a llorar.
El dorado se te...
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
El dorado...
Hola.
Analí, ya. Déjate vainas, ¿ya?
Mamá, tú no has visto lo que yo he visto.
Sí, que crece un poco más.
Se para encima de una piedra y nada más.
¿Quién ha crecido, el hombre o la nave?
Yo estoy filmando al hombre.
Yo estoy filmando la nave.
¿Qué
Yo estoy viendo la nave. Analí, filma la nave. Filma la nave.
No sé dónde está la nave.
Te voy a marcar dónde está la nave.
Ay, tú no sabes lo que yo he visto.
Estará lo que ya has visto que...
¿Los extraterrestres existen o no? Este video fue grabado con una cámara fotográfica digital el 28 de julio del 2008. La grabación se hizo en Santa Rosa de Quibes a las 4 de la tarde.
Detrás de ellos aparece un ser. Más o menos será unos...
Los protagonistas principales del video, algo comienza a moverse. Tiene apariencia de un gran arbusto y camina sosteniendo un objeto, para luego desaparecer entre los árboles. Veamos nuevamente. Los estudiosos de la ufología lo han bautizado como el hombre de Quibes.
El ser empieza a alejarse lentamente cuando se ve que tiene en la mano izquierda una especie de un objeto o algo tiene en la mano izquierda, y cuando sale desde el cuadro empieza a salir como una especie de rayos tanto del pecho como de la cabeza. Esto es lo que se ve en el video. Ha sido grabado de día, está a pocos metros y de alguna manera es singular, es único en el mundo en cuanto a este tema.
Aún no se ha podido determinar qué es realmente esta criatura que aparece en el video. Si este ser animado no es un animal conocido ni un ser humano, entonces, ¿será la prueba de que no estamos solos en el universo?
Fala, filho da puta! Calma aí, maluco. Porra, vai machucar o bicho, cara. Aí, não falei que ele ia falar, ô? Vambora, porra.
See? Don't move in there. Now there's a motorcycle. See?
I don't see nothing down there. Can't be the motorcycles, honey. There's another sparkle. You see what I'm saying?
What's that? What is that?
Tree.
No. You moved it, right? Right there. See?
Uh-huh.
Look.
There's nobody there. I can't see.
Look. Isn't it those people?
Can't be.
There's nobody
Not up in the
down
trees.
there. There's nobody down there no more. See?
Right, now what this is the security staff heard an alarm go off, which actually meant that the fire doors were open. They rushed to it and there was nothing there. The doors were closed, actually, when they got there. Now, if we'll go back through this again. On CCTV camera, but not seen by anybody at the naked eye.
And basically, there are other CCTV cameras around Hampton Court, particularly after that fire. Nobody was seen approaching this particular spot. You don't see the doors actually being pushed open by hand, and then the figure strides forward and slams them shut. As you can see, and close-ups have shown that it appears to be dressed in medieval clothes, similar to what Henry VIII would have worn. But the key thing is it happened 3 days on the run. That's the only time that a figure actually appeared on the camera. The other 2 days, both either side of that day, there was nothing there. And the other CCTV cameras and witnesses around saw nobody on the spot.
I'd already said all
and there's no trapdoor. What do we think?
From 1983 that happened to catch an unforgettable, shocking event. Let's take another look. Horrifying footage of the exact moment a cow being sucked into a UFO. More horrifying, the next morning, that cow was discovered back in its pasture, lifeless and bloodless.
Челябинск заработал славу, о которой даже и не мечтал. Уже несколько суток в чатах крупнейшей мировой файлообменной интернет-сети YouTube одним из лидеров стало видео под очень необычным названием «НЛО в Челябинске». Судя по картинке, какой-то светящийся объект желтого цвета завис над перекрестком, после чего начал двигаться по странной траектории. Машина, которая ехала по проспекту Победы, резко затормозила, видимо, пытаясь избежать столкновения. В кадр попали двое людей, они очень активно оглядываются по сторонам. Еще двое пешеходов на другой стороне дороги дороге тоже ведут себя необычно. Один человек, по всей вероятности, что-то увидел, при том, что на перекрестке никого нет, и, похоже, начал фотографировать. Вот она, фотовспышка. Второй пешеход чего-то испугался, мы видим, он убегает, подробности пока неизвестны.
Тарзан! Афор! А теперь ко мне. Ко мне, Тарзан. Ко мне, я говорю. Тарзан! Тарзан, я сказал, ко мне! Тарзан, ко мне! Что это? Тихо, тихо, Тарзан. Тарзан, тихо, тихо, Тарзан. Боже мой, что это было?
A UFO in China's skies forced Zhoushan Airport to stop operations on July 7th. Outbound flights were grounded after the unidentified flying object was detected by a flight crew. The incident has captured the attention of Chinese media, and theories about the UFO's identity are burning up on the internet as well. They include everything from a hidden U.S. bomber to an elaborate man-made hoax. For now, the UFO continues to be a mystery. A spokesman from China's Civil Aviation Administration confirmed to ABC News that the matter is under investigation.
I wish I could give you an answer to this bizarre sighting. I really can't, but I can tell you that earlier today, there were dozens and dozens of people right here on 23rd and 8th. They were standing right here, and they were all in a stupor, just crowded together, looking into the sky.
Well, a lot of people are looking up. It's because of a mystery in the sky. Is it a balloon, a UFO? Whatever it is, it sure has a lot of people talking. Eyewitness News reporter Jeff Begase is live in Chelsea, where crowds have gathered. Jeff, what's this all about?
Well, Sade, we don't know.
Look at that. Oh my gosh. What the heck is that?
What is that? Look, they joined.
Oh my gosh.
Disclosure is very close, and the American people need to prepare themselves very soon for an announcement from our government that there is, in fact, an extraterrestrial presence engaging this planet and the human race.
Este video demuestra la existencia de extraños objetos que navegan por nuestros mares. Pero, ¿acaso será algún tipo de artefacto o nave extraterrestre? ¿Podrá ser una sonda de reconocimiento alienígena? ¿A qué peligro desconocido nos enfrentamos?
As the people of Tamil Nadu continue to rebuild after last December's devastating tsunami, the ocean has begun to offer up more than just destruction and heartbreak. Just a short distance from the discovery of a centuries-old city at Mahabalipuram, archaeologists have made another stunning find.
I heard legends since I was a child about the giant creatures that once lived here, but now it seems those stories are true.
Half buried in the sand and stretching 150 feet beneath the ocean lies something that may change paleontologists' understanding of prehistoric biology. Archaeologists are excavating what appears to be the fossilized remains of a giant creature. As yet unidentified, the remains are being examined to help scientists solve this colossal mystery. For Shreyas News India, this is Rupa Sridharan.